Alright guys, so today we're going to look at configuring an engine. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and open up our SCMD4. We're going on some assumptions here that you've already set up your area with your scene and channels. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and click on Engines, and then we're going to right click on an unassigned engine, and we'll go ahead and assign that engine to area 100. We'll go ahead and select daylight linking, and by default it is not enabled, so we're going to need to check that to enable daylighting. This fade time of 1 minute, this is how fast the daylight zone will dim or fade from one band to the next. So you see we have scenes 108 through 101 here. Those are our 8 bands. And like I said, the time that it takes to get from one scene to the next is this time. We're going to want to make sure that this auto suspend is checked so that when a scene is called in a room, daylighting will automatically be suspended. So any scene that's called. Scene 1, scene 0, it doesn't matter. This next section here where it says polling rate, by default is 2 minutes, so that's how often the sensor is being asked and then are given the data to the engine and then making light level adjustments. So typically I'm kind of in the habit of changing that from our 2 fast polling, and that changes minutes to seconds, and then typically I'll set the polling rate at 10 seconds. Then if we move down further, we have highest and lowest thresholds. Those points are shown on the graph here. So notice that when I grab the highest threshold and move it, it automatically changes it there. And then same thing with the lowest threshold. You can type in those values. Now, keep in mind that, for example, if we're talking about an MTS sensor, it has a range. Its range only goes up to 400 foot candles. So let's expand this a little bit more. Right now you can see we're sitting up here at 1,000. But what that means is we need to turn down the top of the range to somewhere below 400. Otherwise, the sensor would never be able to get into the top band if you left it at 400, because that's the top of its range. Okay. Another thing, whenever you're actually calibrating daylighting, it may or may not be necessary, but in advanced mode here, you can grab the individual bands and adjust them right here. Okay. All right, when we assign an engine to daylight, and in this example we're using area 100, these bands or scenes 101 through 108 automatically get assigned. All right, so after we've configured our engine, we need to go in and set these scenes up that were created for us. So we'll go ahead and open the scene editor, and we'll go into our gem area. And from there, we'll go ahead and select our first band or scene, which is 101. Let's go ahead and adjust this so we can see the individual zones. So zone 1 here, this is our daylighting zone. So with the least amount of natural light, we're going to want the most amount of artificial light. So we're going to set that at 100. The other zones in the room that are non-daylighting, those zones need to be set to the level that you want when the sensor triggers from movement. So if you want the light to turn on at 100% when you walk in the room, you're going to want to set all of those non-daylight zones to 100% in each one of the scenes. Okay, so from there, we'll go ahead and select scene 2, and we're gonna start at 100 in scene 101, and in scene 102, we're gonna just go ahead and set that zone, that daylight zone, to 80%, and then set the non-daylight zones to 100. And we're just going to proportionally set that zone across the bands or scenes as we go. So 103 would be 70, the non-daylights would be 100, 60, and 104. 105 is 50, 40, 30, and then 20. So in this example, we are not daylighting to off. We are daylighting down to 20%.